And now, Focus on the Pines with your host, Jack Barnes.
Hi, I'm Jack Barnes, and welcome to Focus on the Pines, where we bring you news, views, and interesting people from in and around Ocean Pines. Today's guest is the newly elected president of the Ocean Pines Board of Directors, Bill Rakow. Bill, congratulations on your new position, and welcome to Focus on the Pines.
Thanks, Jack.
Now, before we get into maybe some of the specifics on Ocean Pines and your new job, maybe you can give our viewers a little insight into the early years of Bill Rakow.
Well, I was born in San Diego. My father was a career naval officer, so we traveled around the country quite a lot, including overseas. When I was 17, I enlisted in the Marine Corps Reserve. Went through boot camp in Parris Island in 1956. Got an appointment to the Naval Academy through the Marine Corps and graduated in 1961 as a Marine Second Lieutenant. Then I spent another 29 years commissioned service in the Marine Corps, primarily as an infantry officer.
And somewhere along the line, you met your lovely wife, Lanny.
I did. She was also is also the daughter of a career naval officer. She was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and we met when I was on a midshipman summer cruise in Norfolk. Picked her up on the beach.
No kidding.
Yep.
You did a good job of picking up because you're a lovely lady. Now you have, I know you have one son, Steve, who's involved locally in Ocean Pines. Other people in the family?
Yeah, Steve is also a Naval Academy graduate and a former Marine, an attorney. I hate to hold that against him, but an attorney.
We'll try not to.
We'll try not to. And he decided to get in the building business, and the company is all his now. I have a daughter, Christy, who was married to a Marine lieutenant colonel. And they're stationed up in Detroit, Michigan right now. But yeah, that's with 5 grandchildren.
Congratulations, that's great. That's the same amount I have. It gets exciting on occasion. Now you, if I remember correctly, we always refer to you as Colonel. That was your rank when you left the Marine Corps.
Correct.
Give our viewers a little insight. Moving into Ocean Pines now as in your new role, you've been on the board for a couple years. And now you come in as president of the board. How do you see the difference there from what you did previously when you were, a board member, so to speak?
Well, I look on it as being the coordinator of the board. I'm not the boss of the board, but I believe that my experience in business running a company and my experience in the Marine Corps causes me to have an inclination to be more organized, okay? And what I hope to be able to do is focus on long-range planning. We've developed a year-in sight plan now, and all the major events have been scheduled for the year, or at least 10 will be scheduled. And I hope that we can make our meetings and the things we do more meaningful and related to OPA's mission and its established goals.
So you see that obviously your military background is extensive, and you feel that will have some impact in your interaction with board members, and I don't mean that in a negative way necessarily.
I'm sure it will. Some may appreciate that approach, and some may not.
But no one will be asked to salute.
No one will be asked to salute.
Now, everyone comes on, I think, the board, and again, I don't mean this in a negative way, with either some personal issues they'd like to see get done or some, agendas, if that's a fair word. How do you sort of interact as your board president? You have issues you'd like to see done, but you also need to do what is best for the community. Are you able to separate maybe the personal agendas from your position as board president when you're throughout the next couple of years, really?
I'm not sure that my agenda, if I have one, is any different than what the needs are of the community. Again, in my background, I feel like I'm pretty mission-oriented, okay? So rather than just talk and discuss things and say, okay, we'll worry about that, what I want to do is I want to come up with anything we intend to do or need to do, we're going to agree to do, not just me say we're going to do it, we're going to agree to do, and we're going to focus on who can best get that done, whether it be the general manager or a committee or the board itself. We're going to put an expected completion date, and we're going to work to get it done, whatever that's going to be. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time talking about issues. We need to get something done.
Now, along those lines, Bill, I had one of the forum members, I asked them if they had any particular questions, and one said that they'd like to know what your priorities are as you move into your new position and the board takes hold.
Okay, well, a year ago in the summertime, Director Dave Stevens and I formed an ad hoc committee that worked on OPA mission and goals, okay? We looked at those again the other day, and those goals are what's going to drive us, in my opinion, to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Now, one of the principal ones is maintaining Ocean Pines as it should be, and that has two facets to it. Number one, the existing facilities, and I think if anybody's been watching at all Ocean Pines, they know that we have formed a 10-year task force to address these, and we're going to get it done one way or another. And our goal, and that side of it is to do it right, to do it in the most costly manner, to make sure what we're going to do is going to meet the needs of the community, you know, and get these facilities fixed up so they're going to last another 40 or 50 years. No more patchwork type thing. The other side of that is the community itself in the way that members maintain their properties. As a member, I would not like to see a property next to me that deflates my property value, that doesn't look right, that's trashy and messy. We need to focus on that, and the Declaration of Restrictions, the restrictions therein, and the covenants we've all agreed to, and find out a way to make this community look better. It looks pretty good, but it needs to look better.
And when you were a board member, not as president for the last couple of years, I have observed that that's an area that you were particularly interested in, and we could see changes. I could see, to someone that's involved in the community, some changes taking place and getting some of these properties cleaned up. Not always as easy as sometimes we as onlookers surmise. It can be very difficult, including court cases in many instances.
It's not easy, no. But quite frankly, I believe we've done a tremendously better job in the past. The Compliance Permit and Inspection Department, CPI, was formed, and it's led by Kerry Nelson, who's doing a doggone good job. He's got a couple of good inspectors, and what we need to do is the rest of management and the board need to come to some kind of an understanding of exactly our roles and how we should proceed in the procedures to make this, make it better. And we're working on that. And we're going to get that resolved with a new policy through discussions and stuff in October. We're going to establish a new policy in October of how we're going to get this done. I look at what's happening in the community now, and we have a facility which you had a very large part in getting going, which is our new community hall about to open. We have a new skate park. You have an enclosed pool, and on the same time, we have some amenities which need some substantial monies put in to get them fixed up, and we have a couple others that are in deficit positions. How do you see all this impacting assessments when you look down the road? Obviously a topic dear to the heart of many property owners in Ocean Pines. Well, for those who have studied the budget, we made a commitment last year to put into the reserves, the replacement reserve fund, enough money to get these facilities that need upgrading and rehabilitation up to speed in the next 5 to 10 years, okay? And to do this, the board agreed to increase the assessments every year to build this up based on what we think is going to cost us. And that's about, just for replacement reserves, is about $30 a year more. So if we want to get this stuff done, we have to pay for it.
Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, one of the problems in the past was that oftentimes our reserves were kind of looked at as a little slush fund to dip into, and it was a way to sort of avoid raising assessments, and then the board would come to the property owners and say that, oh, we're going to replenish the reserves, which sounded better than we want to use the money for this. That, I take it, is something that is changing?
If and when we have operational shortfalls, the money has to come from another pot of money somewhere. Simple as that. We want to make sure that our budgeting is realistic on the operations and normal maintenance side, so that we fund that through assessments as we need to do, okay? And then we also need to fund these replacement reserves. The board has not passed a motion to this effect, but we've said several times last year, and I think I said it in the meeting the other day, that we do not intend to take on any new capital projects until the existing facilities are properly taken care of, okay? So we're not going to do any new things, but we're going to take care of these things. Now, some of these things we're going to take care of, we're learning about as we go into them. This 10-year task force, for example, the Swim and Racket Club deck in that facility was the lowest of our priorities in May. And now it's the highest because we found that the support for the decking on the marina side is rotten. So we're tearing down that deck this month, and we're studying options of how to replace it. We feel like it had to be done. And when we find out those options, we're going to know the costs, and we're going to have to do it, okay? Along with that, we're looking at the beach club, and the restroom facilities and the locker rooms downstairs have been a matter of complaint and a cleanliness and a maintenance issue for years. We intend...
And rightly, those complaints are well-founded.
Well-founded. And we intend, and right now we have bids out that aren't costing us anything, to determine what it's going to cost us to take care of that issue. And when we find that number out, we're going to put that along with the Swim and Racket Club, and we're also going to find out what it would take us to improve the parking lot over there and lay these things out and see where it fits in the existing level of replacement reserve funding on the future levels, and what else we have to do, okay? And we're gonna study this thing, and we've got to make some decisions in the near future.
One of the items I noticed with property owners that there seems to be some disagreement, maybe even confusion, has to do with our financial statement. There's a group that feels that it's impossible to read and figure out what specifically is related to each, let's say, amenity. And then there's a group that may say, look, as long as the overall amenities make money, why should we worry about one of them losing? Without my getting into more specifics, and you understand that, can you shed a little light on your thoughts of that situation?
Sure.
Did I put you on a hot spot with that question?
Well, it all depends. You have to read between the lines, I guess, depending on what people say. But basically speaking, the way I feel, and the way I know several of the members of the board feel, is that the amenity package of Ocean Pines is one of the key things that make it what it is. When you come to move here, you talk about the pools and the golf course and the tennis courts and the yacht club and the beach club and all that kind of stuff. Those things are important. They're here. We bought into that, and we need to make sure those things are what they should be, okay? And if they need to be repaired and maintained, we got to put the money into it to do it. Now, that's on the capital side. We don't seem to address the capital side. We address the operating and routine maintenance costs, and that's when we talk about shortfalls, because the capital side's not even in that equation. We're going to spend a lot more money on the capital side, for those amenities. So when we say we're losing, quote, $500,000, That's just in the operational side. We're spending a lot more money than that, and the membership should be aware of that we're spending more money.
That's probably why it's more noticeable. The capital side kind of rolls under the radar, and
it rolls under the radar.
Too much aware of it. And it's big bucks.
Big bucks.
Right.
Okay, but the thing is, we bought into that. We, so to speak, own it. So we got to take care of it. Okay. Now, on the operating side of the amenities, the yacht club, the golf operation, the tennis operation, the aquatics operation, and all that kind of stuff. In my opinion, we've got those things, and we should be providing the best possible product and service to the membership. Okay? Let me use the yacht club as an example.
You're treading into dangerous waters.
That's okay, if we have a yacht club, and I'm talking about the yacht club food and beverage operation, it should be all that it can be. We should be competitive with those people outside. If we can't be competitive, we either should shut it down or we should do something to make it competitive. I personally believe it can be competitive, okay? We've got a good manager now there, we've got a great chef, and we've got to give them the opportunity to be successful. Now, if I were focusing on what's going on at the yacht club and the food and beverage operation, I would first be focusing on the number of people in the door. Are they happy? Is the product what they want? Is the service good? Is the facility what it should be? Okay? Those are the first questions I'd be looking at every week and every month. Because if I look first at the budget and the financial side of the thing, that's going to be driving what we do. I want the financial side to reflect the great product and service we're providing, not the other way around, because it'll never be financially successful unless it's something that the people want. Does that make sense?
It does. Let me just do as a follow-up. When you say, and I ask this, Bill, because we get a lot of discussion around this point of competitive and be all it can be. Does that mean, as you mentioned, it's an operating budget that we look at, whether it be golf, yacht club, or whatever, which I think the philosophy, if I'm correct, in Ocean Pines has been that the operating cost, the goal is to have that borne by those using the facility. Is that fair, first of all? The operating cost.
Well, let's say if we're talking about the yacht club, for example, to be specific, by those using the facility. If it's going to be paid for by just those using the facility, then we got to count the people that are using it, and we probably have to drive the prices way up. Because it's those who can use it. In other words, the entire membership.
Right, entire membership. But operating cost, does that mean that let's use the yacht club, that the goal would be they should at least break even on operating costs since they don't have capital cost to contend with. Everyone pays capital cost in Ocean Pines, divided among everyone. Operating costs are borne by, if it's the golf club, it's those that are members of the golf. If it's pool, it's pool. If it's a yacht club, it should be those dining, even if that's outside members. We ask that they break even. But is that a fair statement I'm making?
I personally believe that operationally, our food and beverage operations can break even. But to say that's our goal, and look at the history, in the last several years, we've been down by operationally $100,000 to $140,000 in round numbers over the last few years. To say it's going to break even and not do something about it is kind of unrealistic, isn't it?
It is, right.
Okay. I don't like losing operationally any money in the food and beverage operations. But I'll tell you this, if I'm going to lose $100,000 a year, history tells me, I'd rather lose $100,000 a year and provide a great product and service that people come and are always happy about than lose $100,000 a year and have people complain. Does that make sense?
I'd have to digest that somewhat, but I understand what you're saying.
We have got in everything. Here's one of the messages I have, and I think I got the support of most of the board, and we're going to keep talking about this over the years, but in everything we do in Ocean Pines, we should do with enthusiasm and zeal in search of excellence, do the best possible thing we can do. Everything should be done as good as it can be. I don't expect perfection, but I expect gradual improvement and an attitude that I'm good, but I can be better.
And do you feel there should be, if you're looking at any amenity and it's struggling, do you feel that time limits make some sense at all to, hey, we need to get this, and if not, maybe it's just not a facility that the property owners are willing to support?
Yes and no. First of all, if we take any of these amenities, whether it be golf or the food and beverage operations or whatever, we have to be able to develop a plan that we all believe in, okay, that we all believe can be successful. If we believe it's going to fail, it's probably going to fail. So we got to, and we shouldn't just accept that out of hand. We should figure this out, and we've got to be willing to be committed to develop a good plan that's going to work. Okay?
I think that's the key, because in the past, Bill, I think what many of us have seen is there's a problem with a certain facility, and their plan comes up, and the plan then needs a couple years to work. But you find out in the end that maybe the plan was nothing more than a stalling thing to get you through another couple of years. That's frustrated many property owners in Ocean Pines, and you're aware of that.
And it frustrates me too. And if I had the easy solution of how to make all this happen, I'd be a genius. But we in the board, not me, but we in the board, I believe are committed to making it better. Okay.
That's great. And speaking of the board, get you off the hot seat for a minute here. Thank you for answering that.
I don't mind the hot seat.
We have two new members, Bob Thompson and Pete Gomsack. You certainly know them. You know the other members. How do you feel is the synergy of this particular board as we look ahead going forward?
Of all 7 of us?
Yeah.
Well, we're all going to have a difference of agreement,
which I think you feel is a good thing.
I think it's I think it's a good thing. I think that as Marty Clark, one of our directors, states, if everybody's going to agree on this committee, we only need a committee of 1. So there are a lot of ways to skin a cat, and there are a lot of ways to do things, and we need to have the board provide educated input in every issue we address, okay? And I think we've got a board that's pretty much committed to that.
I would agree, and I asked that question because I've had people tell me that, this looks like a really good group, and not casting any disparaging comments on any other, but it looks just, you get a good feeling about the group and the talents they bring to the table, which also raises expectations in the community of what can get done. So that's good, and because the board you got to work with the GM, Tom Olson, got to work with each other. I guess you only need 4 votes to get something going, but it looks like maybe we got some good expectations we could look forward to here.
My expectations are always high, okay? And
no wonder you're a colonel.
Well, you gotta aim high, and you gotta have high expectations. And I believe that and just like we have got, I've been here for 19 years now in the Pines, and I've gotten to know a lot of the employees here. I think we have a darn good bunch of employees. Okay,
I agree.
I really believe that.
I do too.
However, I sometimes don't think they're challenged enough, and I think that we're all like 10-speed bikes, and we only use about 3 gears. And this might sound corny to you, but that's what I believe. And I believe that people challenged and people that have got tough tasks to do and achieve them feel a lot better about the organization, And this is a pretty good place, and we need to understand that, and we need to approve about 100 things, about 1 or 2%, and that's really what we're talking about here.
Well, that's great. We wrap things up here, Bill. Is there any particular message you'd like to leave with our viewers as far as either what they can expect, the future, or maybe something you'd like to ask of them?
Well, we are committed to this rehabilitation process, and it's going to cost some money, and I think the people need to understand that. By the way, I am really pretty concerned about the budget and about penny pinching. And I believe that we need to be very, very careful about any potential to waste or frivolously spend our money. I really, we got to do what we got to do, but we also have to take care of what we got and make sure we don't waste money. And so we should be looking for ways to save. Okay, but to get done what we got to get done is going to cost some money. So we need to be careful, but we need to be wise, and we need to move forward. So this place is what it is for the next much after we leave.
Well, we certainly thank you, and as you know, property owners in Ocean Pines are certainly not bashful in expressing their opinions. And I'd like to also thank you for the time. You've been one of the directors that's been willing to come on the Ocean Pines Forum, not just now, but for several years. And you take the heat on there because you can't get away with a lot, but you've answered people's questions, you've answered them honestly, and I think provided a lot of insight and information people would not normally have had coming from somebody that's on the board. We certainly wish you well in your new tenure as president of the Ocean Pines Board of Directors, and look forward to some good things in Ocean Pines. Thank you for joining us and for sharing this information. Bill Rakow, new president of the Ocean Pines Board of Directors.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you've enjoyed hearing from Bill. This is Jack Barnes for Focus on the Pines.